Welcome back to the one slide series on control systems unlocked. During the last lectures, we looked at representations of dynamical systems and we concluded that state space representations are better than transfer function representations since they can handle easily multiple input and multiple outputs. Today, I'm going to talk about stability and convergence. We briefly introduced stability informally, and today I will be a little bit informal in the sense that I will define stability based on eigenvalues. And later, when we introduce Lyapunov concepts, we can more precisely discuss rigorously and formally discuss stability. But I think we are ready for today's lecture. So we are looking at either an open loop system with u being a constant now. That's why I dropped t. You have a system, matrix A, driven by some input U. This is an open loop system. Or you may have a closed loop system. You have x that equals to ax plus bu, some sort of a control structure. Again, I haven't covered controller types for now. I don't expect you to know. So right now, take this as a candidate. You have a feedback component plus driven by some constant V. So in this case, when you close the loop with this control signal, you are looking at, once you plug this to here, you are looking at ax plus a minus bk x plus bv. So regardless, you are looking at an open loop system or a closed loop system. We are looking at this. So this can represent an open loop system if AC is A and R is U, constant, or it can represent a closed loop system if AC is A minus BK and R is V. That's why I wanted to represent in this generic form. It can represent an open loop or a closed loop system. All right, here is the first result. If AC is Hurwitz, I am using this for the first time in this series. What do we mean by Hurwitz? A matrix AC, a square matrix AC, is said to be Hurwitz when its all eigenvalues has negative real parts. What it means is that all the eigenvalues are trapped on the left half plane, or to be more precise, in the open left half plane. Then we remember from the previous lecture on the effect of eigenvalues, then they will contribute to the exponential terms in the solution, they will die out, then the system will converge somewhere. And in the case when you have a constant R and AC is Hurwitz, then the first result says if AC is Hurwitz and R is constant, then X will converge to some equilibrium point. So to characterize this equilibrium point or to find any equilibrium point, all you need to look at is the point where motion stops. And the motion stops when X dots are zero, X dot is zero. So 0 equals to ACXE. It is a constant now based on this result. R is constant. So we have an algebraic equation right now. We need to solve this for XE. And if you multiply both sides by AC inverse, and AC is invertible because it is Hurwitz, and when it is Hurwitz, it contains all negative eigenvalues. For a matrix to be not invertible, it has to contain the zero eigenvalue. But since it is Hurwitz, all the eigenvalues are here. There is no zero eigenvalue, so I can invert and I can explicitly calculate where does this system converge. Later in the series, of course, after making AC Hurwitz by a proper design, unless your system is open loop stable, if your matrix A is already Hurwitz, you can still play with eigenvalues if you're not happy about how fast the settling time, the TS convergence time is, but it will still converge. So this is how you calculate the XE point. This is a cute result. It is useful. Even something cuter than that is that if, in addition, meaning that AC is still Hurwitz, but right now I am letting R to be time varying, but it is converging to zero. It can be time varying, but if AC is Hurwitz and R converges to zero, then X converges to zero, which really informally follows from here, right? If R converges to zero, XE will converge to zero. So these two results are really cute. Again, if AC is Hurwitz, R is constant, X converges to XE. This is how you calculate. If AC is Hurwitz and R converges to zero, time varying, then X converges to zero. So what we covered so far in this lecture and last lecture, we are looking at linear systems. We have linear order differential equations, which we can write in this form. And when you have uh, time varying systems or nonlinear systems, things differ a little bit. And I discussed this on the my longer videos under Advanced Control Systems playlist. Uh, I am not going to talk much about the time varying case because most of the time we deal with linear or nonlinear systems. But whenever we have a nonlinear system, we most of the time in practice approximate them as a family of linear controllers and linear representations. So, so this x dot equals to ax plus bu, y equals to cx plus du representation is really important to understand. And later we are going to learn linear controllers, and then we're gonna see how still by mastering linear concepts, how we can still control nonlinear systems. We're gonna look later in this series, but for now, I think I covered what I need to cover. Um, if you have any questions, leave a comment, and we'll move forward with the upcoming lectures. Take care. Bye.